This is Pod Populi.
Podcast for the people.
The Great Love Debate. It's the Great Love Debate.
The Great Love Debate. It's the Great Love Debate.
Hi again, everyone. It's Brian Howie. Welcome to The Great Love Debate, the world's number one dating and relationship podcast since 2015. I had a guest today, but my guest flaked. Not too many guests flake on a podcast, so it hasn't been too much of a problem. And I've never flaked on a podcast, but every once in a while, life comes up and people got to postpone, and I get that. So I'm not going to be too hard on that person because it's a good guest, and you will get them in the weeks ahead. So pivot a little, and I was thinking about something because I know that we always try to preach and sometimes even teach positivity around here, and as always, sell hope and create inspiration and try and share a little wisdom and even a bit of woo-woo around here when it comes to your love life. And we usually tell you to keep moving forward and looking ahead, and that all the possibilities are out there. They're ahead of you. They're all around you. And they're even often right in front of you. And we absolutely stand by that thinking and that message. But every once in a while, I think we need to take a peek backwards. Just a glimpse to either find out a reason why you're in the place where you are, or find a way to put a different face on the place where you are. And that has huge value. So I was trying to sum up someone I know's dating history recently, where she was finally in a good relationship after a string of bad ones, terrible ones, unfulfilled ones, and overall just some failed ones. And as a way of acknowledging where she was and where she is, I said, sounds like you had a lot of practice swings, which is sort of a clever quip in a moment, and I'll give myself credit for that. But my witty one-off actually made me think about that, practice swings, and the importance of practice swings. So let me explain what I mean by that. So in the purest sense of the word, whether we're talking about swinging a golf club or a racket or a baseball bat in the on-deck circle, or even at home plate, the practice swings act as a warm-up for your muscles before you take your shot for real. But your muscles don't know it isn't for real. Only your brain does. So what you get is a simulation of an activity without the outcome you eventually want. And that's a good thing, because practice generally makes perfect or close to it. But it also gets a lot of bad swings out of the way and a lot of bad habits out of the way. And if any of you have golfed, you ever dribble one off the first tee, and instead of declaring a mulligan, and God, who wouldn't want to just chalk up that first marriage to a mulligan? And a mulligan, a little sidebar here, a mulligan is I think defined as a second chance to do an action, to perform an action again. Usually after the first chance went wrong through either a screw up or bad luck. Okay? And doesn't that sound better than we got divorced? I think mulligan is an Irish term or a Scottish term, and everything sounds better with a wee bit of brogue in it. Could be bad behavior, but put a little lilt on it, and suddenly that wild night in Cancun was just shenanigans, malarkey, skullduggery. Just try that out. You could say, I have a 5-year-old as a result of my first mulligan. 11 years ago, I had a mulligan named Megan. It was a train wreck. Isn't that better? I think that's better. I think it's a better way to phrase things. It's all about the phrasing. So anyway, back to the practice swings. And you loyal Great Love listeners know how much I love to mix my metaphors around here. Practice swings. So some people don't need them, and I never have been much of a practice swinger. Does that sound right? Practice swinger. That sounds like a Craigslist posting from a category you want to stay out of. I didn't like practice swings on the golf course or when I was a baseball player because I didn't want to waste a good one and not have it count. I want everything to count. But that's me. But looking back, yeah, Wish I didn't have to count that one. Don't score that one. Don't write that down. Just a practice swing. The practice swings get you ready for the real thing, the right thing, the thing you want. And I mentioned a couple episodes ago that one of the most popular episodes, I said episodes twice, one of the most popular episodes of this show we have ever done was the one that we called The 11 Exes You Date Along the Way. That one is GLD 268. GLD 268 in your hymn book. And I think that one was so popular because it made everybody feel like they weren't the only one who went through a whole lot of crap with a whole lot of crappy people. It was sort of a dating rite of passage that we all have gone through or we all share a bit of similarity with. And the practice swings is a similar bit of that thinking. You need to get loose. You need to warm up. You need to work the kinks out, so to speak. There's another Craigslist post for that category. Want to work the kinks out? Call me. You needed to get the bad ones out of the way. You needed to perfect your performance. And that's all of it. Practice doesn't always make perfect, but it certainly makes things better. Or it should. No matter what you do, practice, practice, practice. The old joke, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. Same thing, right? So we're going to, not to go practice like the old Allen Iverson routine. Google it. Google Allen Iverson practice if you don't know what I'm talking about. But practice matters, and we're going to dive into that a bit more. But I had to take a quick break, and we will be back right after this. And we are back. So part of this little exploration I'm on here, because my guest didn't show up, is both for the physical and the mental, which is what practice should be consisting of. The body should go through the motions, and the mind should understand what exactly the body is doing. And if your mind doesn't understand what the body's doing, you got to work out a lot of things beyond practice. Body needs to know, the mind needs to know what the body's doing, why is it doing it, and for what purpose. You take practice swings, or you practice the violin, or practice your French. So when the time comes, whatever that time is, the game, the round, the concert, the dinner date, your skills have been perfected. Is it, 10,000 hours to perfect something like Gladwell laid out in Outliers? Not really, because you shouldn't spend 10,000 hours dating. Sounds like a lot of dates. But also because you're never going to perfect dating. Dating is it's a nebulous thing. It's an evolving thing. And there's always going to be things you can do better. Same with a relationship. You just have to try and get better habits, and you have to become more skilled at it. Even within a relationship, one that is actually working. The awkward conversations, the tense moments, the misunderstandings, the I'm not sure what we're doing here, all of that, and a lot of that generally happens early on. You can look at those as practice swings too. When you think and you look at your partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, even your husband and wife, God, we used to fight all the time. Geez, our early days were rough. Man, I didn't know if we were going to make it through this for a while. Or even, holy shit, you were crazy 3 years ago. Or we were crazy 3 years ago. You know what all those are? You know what all those thoughts and even sentences are? Practice swings. And isn't that a more relaxed and relieved way to look at our mistakes? And that guy or that girl who was a mistake? I'm just getting warmed up here, coach. I'm ready to try it for real now. And you might say, well, with that mindset, you can talk yourself into anything. And I think it's the opposite. I think with that mindset, you can talk yourself into everything. It doesn't absolve you of personal responsibility of the outcome. What it does is it enables you to take positivity from the entire experience. I swung, I missed, it didn't count, it didn't mean anything. And in the big picture, it shouldn't mean anything, or at least not anything that's going to prevent you from getting what you want to get and going where you want to go. Didn't mean anything. I'm just getting ready for the real thing. Give me the person who thinks that way. I don't really remember what happened in those relationships. Didn't matter. Learning experiences, growing pains, false starts, whatever you want to call them or say about it or look at it as, it's all essentially that. Practice swings. geez, that guy has had a lot of practice swings. You might think that. Good. At some point, that guy, he's going to have to swing for real. And that muscle memory and mental skill, it's going to be honed and it will pay off. Is she really dating that guy, or is that just a practice swing? You might look at that as one of your friends. You might look at that as yourself. Give her a break. She had a rough year. She needs a few practice swings to get her groove back. Isn't that better? Isn't that better than just being judgmental or to put all your eggs in such a bad basket? Don't you want to look back at that asshole from 5 years ago and that bitch and those times and that relationship as practice swings to get you ready for the real thing? I would. Then it wasn't a waste of time, and it wasn't meaningless, and it wasn't you just being dumb or misguided or misled or just flat out making a mistake. You went through it. You swung a few times, didn't feel right. You didn't connect, and you didn't really have to connect. Not in earnest, because you were just getting ready, and now you're ready. You ever play golf with someone who takes 1 million practice swings? Drives me nuts. It's fucking annoying, Just hit the fucking ball. They don't care, though. Those people who take 1 million practice swings, they know you're annoyed, they feel your frustration, and they don't care. And that's their process, and they're right to have that process. It makes them comfortable. It relaxes them. It's annoying to play with. You don't like it, don't play with them. But you're almost never going to get somebody to cut back on their practice swings. You're just going to make them more aware of it. So whatever they're doing, it settles them into a place where they can succeed. So you can take 2 practice swings, or you can take 200 practice swings. No apologies. You do it. We need it. All of us. It works. It helps. And when the time comes, when this one counts, boom, perfection. Or close to it. And isn't that better than lamenting the ones that didn't work out? You know what? Fuck you. Thank you for letting me warm up on you, fella. I'm ready to do it for real now. With a real situation. With a real guy. With a real girl. Whatever. And again, none of this is to say those past relationships weren't real or they didn't happen. The good, the bad, the painful, all of it. I think this is just a way of having a mindset and an attitude that says, you know what? They don't affect my score. I can still win the game. I can still shoot under par. Ladies, your new guy who has some questions about your amount of sexual partners, fuck off, buddy. Those were just practice swings. And I'm all warmed up now. I'm ready. He doesn't like that. He's just another practice swing. And I think that's the way, not that you ought to look at it, but that you really should look at it. Jackass narcissist guy, practice swing. Crazy gold digger, practice swing. Lazy asshole, practice swing. Non-committal weirdo, practice swing. The night at the bar with that, oh my God, I don't even want to talk about it, just a fucking practice swing. Just getting ready over here. Just getting warmed up. And even when you're ready, even when you've had 1 million of these practice swings, even when you've gone through all the motions, hey, a lot of us have warmed up and then we hook it. Or we slice it, or we have to yell for and scatter everybody out of the way. But you know what? You move on, you play it where it lies, you take a few more swings, and you hit it again. And if you hit it in the water, hey, you drop another one, you move a couple steps to the left, and you just go for it. And eventually, if you keep doing that, and if you keep looking at it that way and not getting too hung up on the, oh my God, why, what, how did this happen to me again and again? I think you're a lot better off if you just look at it as practice swings. So, sorry I had to kind of go in a different direction today, but I was thinking about it. I think it helps. I think it at least helps me, and I think it'll help a lot of you guys. And if you agree or disagree, or you really like taking a lot of practice swings, shoot us an email, greatlovedebate@gmail.com. Go to what is that? greatlovedebate@gmail.com. Yeah, go to our website, greatlovedebate.com. Check out our upcoming shows. We are back on the road. We are live. We don't need any practice swings. We are diving right back into the deep end of the ocean, and people are excited. People are ready. It's 2021. 2020 was a year that made us think about a lot